Child, don't be doing that. Is we on? Let me see who we got in here. Welcome, guys. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday. Shout out to y'all. What's up, Christine? What's up, Myra? Let me see if we get some more people in here. Today's going to be good, y'all. I ain't playing. Today's going to be good, y'all. Welcome to, y'all getting some specials today. The live dissection, exclusive only for patrons. That means you. We are dissecting live today. Oh, I care a lot on Netflix, and I have a lot to say about it. But we got company, y'all. We sure got company today, so be on your best. Be on your best behavior. Also, feel free to ask questions. We have her for a short time, but a powerful time. So I want y'all to get the answers y'all want to get. I don't want to waste too much of your time. We have an interview before we are jumping into our live dissection today. What's up, Khaled? What's up, CJ? What's up, Elle? Welcome to the room. Hi, Amira. How are you? Let me tell y'all who we got stopping by today, all right? This is a comic historian and pop culture critic for notable publications such as Sci-Fi Fangirls, Marvel, the AV Club Nerdist, Den of Geek, who I often reference for our WandaVision dissection so I can know what I'm talking about, and Rotten Tomatoes. But writing for the comic world for Parenthood Activate, But What If Though, and Living Heroes, the comic series starring beloved Marvel heroines such as Storm, Monica Rambeau, Jennifer Walters, aka the She-Hulk, and Misty Knight, all living together, imagined living together in Black sisterhood inspired by the 90s sitcom Living Single. Who we're speaking to today made her Marvel debut with a short story featuring Monica Rambeau and Marvel's Voices Legacy. Everyone, please give a warm welcome. Fill up the chat with some hearts. Show your love to Miss Stephanie Williams. Stephanie, come on in. Say hi to the folk. Let them see ya.
Sorry, I was muted. My bad. How y'all doing?
What's up? How are you? Thank you for coming to our exclusive show today.
You know what? Thank you. I have not stepped foot inside of a church in I don't know how long, but I love to commute. A church, I don't even know what that is.
Oh. We rebuke. No, I'm just playing.
I'm happy to be here and fellowship with you today and talk about some stuff.
I'm excited too. I'm excited too. They're all excited to talk to you in the chat. Hi, Iana. Welcome as well. They're throwing some hearts in the chat. So we have a lot to talk about, specifically because you took on an imagined story of Monica Rambeau, who we've all spent time with watching Marvel's WandaVision on Disney Plus. And I wanted to get your take on how you have storied the character versus how we saw her in WandaVision. So in which ways did Monica Rambeau in your comics differ than the woman that we saw in WandaVision?
So the Monica Rambeau in my comic probably would have been cussed Wanda out the third time that she, pointed her finger at her and got a little saucy. But the Monica Rambeau in my comic also would have tried to, just be the person with common sense in the room and say, but this person can, switch up reality, then guns and the military are probably of no use. So let's figure out how we can make her more of the solution than treating her like the problem. So that worked out, but also the Monica Rambeau in my story would have not taken bullets from them imaginary kids after watching them handle their own just prior, and probably would have, gotten a chance to actually handle Hayward, who was her, antagonist the entire series.
Can we talk about how she was handled in WandaVision? And I'm so happy that you're like so honest and so giving with your point of view, even as someone who works under the Marvel umbrella, because we know sometimes they clank it down, it gets real tight under the Marvel house, but you are so honest and transparent about how Monica was handled in the show. I've spoken about it on our dissection for, especially for episode 9, the finale, where it just seemed like she was just this magical savior to me. She had no time to grieve her mother. We didn't see the things that made her happy. We didn't see her process of grief to even compare it to Wanda. Like, we know Wanda is not handling grief well. And Monica just kind of shows up as if she is the person who handles grief well, but we never even saw the process. She's just there to fully save and empathize with Wanda. And I kind of had a problem with that, but I definitely wanted to dive deeper into what you saw with that character in the show.
So, so full disclosure, like when it was announced that Monica was going to be in WandaVision, I was annoyed because again, like we're getting this powerful Black woman that in the Marvel comics who started off as, you know, with the Avengers, eventually leader of the Avengers, and then all of these different name changes to being reduced to like a sub-C character. I was annoyed because I was already annoyed with her being introduced as a child in Captain Marvel, because now you've intertwined these two characters that had absolutely nothing to do with one another until the name changes. So that was that, but I tried to make peace with it as best I can. So with the announcement of WandaVision, like I was expecting, like my expectations were in hell. So when WandaVision started and it had proven itself to be like it was going to do something different than other Marvel stories, then I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe. And then Monica Rambeau comes on the scene. And for the most part, except for things that were just very irritating to me, but limited because the writer is white, I thought that there was, you know, they were propping the character up enough that they understood that this is not just some, you know, side character. This is a character that really should have her own vehicle, her own movie. So I was pissed that they killed off her mama. But I was like, okay, well, maybe, you know, maybe she's the one that's in charge of Sword, but that wasn't the case because Hayward was there. So I'm like, okay. But I really loved episode, I believe 4, 5, and maybe 6, where you got a lot of Monica working with Jimmy and Darcy and just kind of solving things and, you know, working together. I appreciate those aspects because that was very true to the Monica in the comics. She is just ready to hop in and, you know, ready to go. As far as her handling her grief or lack thereof, I was just like, you know what? Also annoying, but the bare minimum right now. So sure, I'll give it to you all. And I thought episode 7 kind of made up for that a little bit when she's working her way through the hex. And to me, it was like this actual, you know, visual representation of her working through that and then coming out of the other side whole again. And then she gives this passionate speech to Wanda about owning her grief and her pain and that she would not change anything because it is her, only for her to go back in episode 9 to be this, I don't know, make this white lady feel better about what she's done and say, you know, if I were given the power, I would have done the same thing. You would have not, because you just said in episode 7, after you fought through that hex, got to her, gave her this passionate speech that you would have not done that.
Come on, writer. She a writer or not? Yo, she is a writer. Yes. And that was my whole thing with like her coming into her power, that it was never for her. You know what I would have did if I was able to break through a TV hex and come out with a stealth mode? I would have been like, damn, I'm the one in the two. Like, I would have been like, yo, I'm tired. Like, you know, like there was nothing there that was like serving her, even her discovering a superpower, even her DNA changing from the inside out. She becomes the bulletproof vest. She went to Wanda to go be like, ma'am, I am your answer. And it's just, and the Wanda gave it a little head nod on the way off. Like, I just saved your kids though. Like, you're gonna have to pay me just a little more respect. Like, a little more respect. But we know how she was handled in WandaVision. I would love to hear more about how you took her on a journey in your comics. What themes did you want to use, and how specifically did Monica Rambeau being a Black woman serve her story?
So, really for Monica, Misty, and Storm, Aurora, Memro, having them there, and this is, I bring them all up because it's just all connected. But the point of Living Heroes was for someone who reads a lot of mainstream comics, Marvel and DC, rarely do the Black women ever hang out. And it just makes not a lick of sense because if you know, like for me, for a while before I was working in writing, I worked in a lab. I was a scientist, and I was used to like being like the only Black person on the floor. And then whenever another Black girl or a Black woman, I should say, would come, be like, "Hey, girl, I see you in the bake room," and we would like, you know, bond because it was only a couple of us. So thinking of that in these superhero spaces that are predominantly white, why wouldn't the Black women hang out? So I do a lot of that in But What If, though, to kind of show that sisterhood. But for Living Heroes, that was important for me to show because um, I just kind of feel like they would hang out. They would talk about these things, about, you know, the different hairstyles that have been slapped on them. Like Misty Knight at that point in time had a gel down bang that didn't make any sense because are you going to the gym with gel all in your head? No, you probably aren't. If you do, you have a headband on because if you sweat and it gets in your eye, you're not saving anyone because you're too busy trying to get the sting out of your eyes. So that, and then you know, both Monica and Storm kind of speaking to how their roles within the teams that they were in, you know, kind of came off. For Storm, it was kind of being like this matriarch and these watcher of these children that Xavier keeps bringing into the mansion. And then for Monica Rambeau being part of the Avengers and Next Wave, which I believe you should read, but I don't think that should be your first introduction to Monica Rambeau. There's a lot of jokes about, you know, her being Steve Rogers' personal assistant. And that couldn't be further from the truth. But just kind of addressing those things, or the fact that a lot of Black superheroes don't get to work together unless it's February or Black Panther is in town. So just kind of having some commentary on that, and, you know, just having them interact with each other. Misty Knight and, you know, Storm being petty towards one another, back and forth. But that's
Let,
something that friends do, right?
let me
We
tell
poke
you,
fun.
first of all, Storm and I would have went together. That's number one. Number two, me and She-Hulk would have been laughing down at Gambit, talking about what the hell he gonna do with them cards. And then I really would have been talking shit about Jean Grey. I would have been like, she can't control her own mind. Like, I would have been teasing her so bad. I'm like, she is tripping out yet again. I wanted to go to a question from the live chat. What's up to Khaled, who asked, question for you, Stephanie.
Mhm.
What was the process like for you getting picked up by Marvel?
It was like I trained for it my whole life because, you know, once I got over the jitters of crap, they actually want me to do something official. I don't know, like I calmed down and was like, they sought you out. So obviously there's something that you do that they want. So just do that thing. So once I like, you know, kind of hyped myself up in that regard, I was able to sit down and just write that story. And I just wrote it the same way that I would have written anything for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could tell us, because it's just us and the patrons, this is a private chat amongst friends. Do you know any future storylines for Monica in the WandaVision or the movie world that's coming up?
I wish I did. All I
No,
can say is
don't
that
tell me.
I hope it's not foolery. That's all I can say is that I hope it isn't that. But the fact that she is going to be in Captain Marvel too, just I really feel like she had her powers before WandaVision. I have my theories for that, but I feel like they are really just going to hammer home the fact that Monica is the little niece to this white lady Carol Danvers, and it burns me up. I hate
Mm,
it.
And of course, our last question before we say goodbye to Miss Stephanie Williams comes from Christine. Where can we buy your comics?
You can find my comics at if you go to my Twitter, but I won't give you all that. Just go to whystuff.com, and that's WHYSTEPH.com. And I believe there is a link to my coffee there where you can find the store.
I'm typing it in the chat, y'all, so y'all can have it. Make sure y'all get it. Make sure y'all support. And let's send some more love to Stephanie. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us. Black woman to Black woman, Black writer to Black writer, I'm so joyous for you. I'm so happy that your work exists. I'm so happy that you give us an outlet under the Marvel universe, because we know the people at the top who control that story would never understand us. And I think it's great that they made way for you. And I think it's great that you give Black girls space to be as legendary as all their other heroes.
Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for having a space, to celebrate Black women and Black work and content and all of that. So thank you. Continue to do what you do. And I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. Go off into your world, girl. Have a beautiful, amazing Sunday. Everybody say bye to Steph. And I'll
bye, y'all. Bye.
All right. How was that, show? Wasn't that cool? Look, I've been giving y'all content. I ain't even gonna lie. Where are my VIP patrons? Y'all may now enter the room. If any of my VIP patrons are here, please come on in, come on in, come on in. We are diving into our live exclusive dissection for I Care a Lot on Netflix. Wow, that was great. That was great, huh? That was something nice and different. I wanted to give y'all something special. WandaVision took us for a loop, a loop-de-loop, okay? She took us for a loop. I'm gonna start sharing my screen, so ignore the mess. We're gonna act like we don't see this, okay? Where are my VIPs? Y'all wanna come on in or what? What's up? We have VIP patrons today. Let's see, my guy is here. Boom. Make sure we on, oh, it's gonna do that anyway. Here we go. What's up, what's up? You wanna say hi to people before we get started? Oh, look at me going ahead.
Hey, what up? Oh, is it just me?
I think some other people might be coming in. Oh, here goes somebody. Come on, Christine. Uh-oh, where'd she go? Oh, Lord. This Zoom stuff, y'all, I swear. We gonna get it together. Christine's here, Ella's here. My VIPs have entered the chat. How y'all been? What's up? How y'all doing?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. People before we get started. Oh, look at me going ahead. Who on me? Who on you got mute? All right. Here we go, y'all. Welcome to the room. My VIPs love having y'all here each and every time. Shout out to Khaled, L, Christine. Okay, if we have any more VIPs, please come on in as you may. Let's get started with I Care a Lot on Netflix, the 2020 Netflix film about a crooked legal guardian who drains the savings of her elderly wards until she meets her match, a woman who tries to swindle her out with criminal activity. Okay, written and directed by Jay Blakeson, who I'm going to have a lot of commentary about that. Stars Rosamund Pike, Peter Dinklage, and Isa Gonzalez, okay, who I believe is the lovely woman who plays Frances. Does anyone want to start with any initial thoughts about the film?
In the beginning, you can go ahead.
No, that was it. How you feel about it?
Oh, did anybody want to go first?
Oh, I'll go. I hated it. I hated it. It made me so sad and upset. So
we're gonna talk about it.
I liked it in the beginning. The premise seemed very interesting. It had potential to be a good movie, but then like halfway through, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I don't want to say anymore because I know we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to it.
Totally jumped the shark.
I think it was so infuriating that I loved it. I loved like hating the characters. I loved like being mad at like where the story is going, and then the ending was satisfying. So
that it was. I was asking for that pretty early on. I was asking for that ending pretty early on, man.
I think she deserved more than that. I mean, I wanted her to have death, but it had to be. I thought they were gonna like go in. I mean, it's the Russian. They were the Russian mafia or something. Like, yeah. Dude, don't y'all know all about torture? Like, what the hell? That's it. That's all she get? Nah, bruh. wasn't satisfying for me.
I feel you. I feel you. But you know what? Let's not waste any more time. Let's get started with I Care a Lot. People are saying they agree with Christine. A Barty says, I love the concept, hated the execution. Wow, wow, wow. All right, well, let's talk about it. Yeah, I know I like to start with some opening shots. And we open looking at the healthcare industry, the medical industry of the United States of America, with the voiceover by Marla Grayson, who says this: look at you sitting there thinking you're good people. I used to be like you, thinking working hard and playing fair will lead to success and happiness. It's a joke. It's a lie by rich people to keep the rest of us poor. And looking at these visuals paired with the theme of what Marla is speaking about, yes, capitalism relies on the 99% being lied to and fed a mirage of the American dream, and that only fuels the profits of the elite 1%, right? So we do that with the visuals against the medical industry. And of course, using the colors red, white, and blue of the American flag, the critique of the American healthcare system. So who capitalizes on the sickness of its citizens? And we can ask, does anybody actually care? As Marla Grayson tells us, this is a game between predators and prey. So if we're thinking about the American healthcare system and the US of A and the American dream, we can see or question, is this the land of the free? So we meet our first mother and son duo, the Feldstroms, who were separated by state order under the healthcare industry. And we see another color here. And I was hypothesizing, what would green represent in the theme of this film and for these characters? And looking at how we first see green, it looks like a prison. We have this family who loves and actually cares about each other, being harmed by the healthcare system. This is the illusion of freedom. The mom is sitting in her room. It looks imprisoning, though they have this happy theme going on. And her son trying with all of his might just to go see her, and he can't, right? Being pinned under the healthcare professionals. Let's lean further into the predator versus the prey. We finally meet Marla Grayson. She is a professional guardian who acquires elderly patients for industrial care. And she overrides the wishes of the elderly and their family. She is the predator. She refers to herself in this film as the lioness, okay, who we know in the animal kingdom are the actual hunters, okay? Who is the prey? The son that we just saw who couldn't reach his mother, Mr. Feldstrom. His actual love and care is not enough. So Marla and the state prohibits him from seeing his mother, and we're putting capitalism in a place where love should be. Though he genuinely cares, he is in over his head, okay? So this is my thing with Marla. This is where I'm gonna start. She obviously here has the privilege. She has the power of the state law behind her. She has enough money for this beautiful, well put together, groomed appearance. You can see kind of how tired and how homely Mr. Feldstrom is. She has the education and the language to sway the judges. Like, this is her setting. This is her playing ground, right? This is America. Yeah. Oh. This is America. This is the war between the poor and working class versus the wealthy. And when we saw those opening shots where like the medical industry is hustling and bustling, and we hear Marla's voice saying, you guys think you're the good guys. And the nurses are the ones enacting in this system and helping a person like Marla do this to someone like Mr. Feldstrom. They're just doing their job. So they have the working class who think they're aligned with the wealthy in the system, that they're doing the right thing, that they are the good guys. So I want to further break down the colors that we see here, right? We're still touching on that red, white, and blue, alluding to the structure of American capitalism in the healthcare and medical industry. We have red, obviously, Marla and the courts, the system of the courts, are the violence against this system, the violence of the American system. We have blue, which I hypothesized. Please let me know if you guys saw or think anything else. I would love to hear differing opinions. I thought the blue in this film represented the citizens, the people of the country, the poor and the working class. You guys can see those bars on the windows, those blue bars, those stripes. This is all built to set a trap for the working class, for the poor, for the citizens of the country. And then we have this brown, yellow, and I usually just pair those together, which I believe, let me know if you have any differing thoughts, that this represents the system itself, the legality of how this all works, because we're meeting this color in a courthouse. You have to follow the rules and the law of the state in order for all of this to happen. So the entire system, that brown yellow, is built to support those aligned with it, Marla Grayson, and suffocate those who are against it, Mr. Feldstrom. So I want to meet more people within the system, because we saw the nurses, we saw the people who work in it and align with it. I have a question for y'all, and VIPs, feel free to jump in. So within the system, we have these working class people. We have a Black judge. We have a Latinx right-hand man. We have an Asian receptionist. If Marla is the bad guy and the system is bad, are these people of color who are doing their jobs also villains who are partaking in the system? Can they be good guys?
They're just following what the Karen wants because the Karen gets what she wants.
Karen, AKA the white supremacist nice lady.
I think like that goes to like people saying they want to become police officers so they can be the change they want to see. But it's kind of like if you have spoiled lemonade or something spoiled and you put a good ingredient in there, it's still spoiled. So it's still gonna make you sick.
Oh, that was a motherfucking word. We like analogies. That was good.
Yeah, they're not victims. They're perpetuating the system, and it's unfortunate. Like it is like a white woman at the head, so it definitely like perpetuates like white feminism. How you always say like white women will align themselves with their whiteness more than their femininity, but yeah, they're not like blameless at all either. They're very complicit.
Yeah, they all benefit from the system that we know causes harm, but they're a part of it. And they literally cheer when she wins her case. I was like, whoa. So I'm gonna talk about it later. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna talk about it later. Mara Charisse calls Marla Grayson's hair a sociopath haircut. Damn, y'all.
It is. It's so perfectly sharp. I mean, it just reminds me of old girl in Get Out, you know, towards the end when she was sitting there with the milk and the black straw and eating the little Fruit Loops. Somebody just sociopath.
When it's too perfect, it gets me.
Yeah.
It gets a little weird. Yeah, for sure. But yes, even though there are Black and brown people here, they are a part of the system that harms the citizens of the country. They all share in its benefit. So there's another side of the system that I want to talk about as well. People in the healthcare system, Let's meet who we are, okay? Let's meet who they are, excuse me, because we ain't them. First is Sam Rice. He's the manager of the Berkshire Oak Care Facility. And he calls Marla to tell her one of her elderly wards has died. And we're dealing with an old person who died, and the way they speak about it as if they just lost the bag. Like they're not even thinking about the humanity of it, right? They're using foul language, they're all sloppy about it, and they make a deal with each other to capitalize off of the death of a person. And she'll pay him personally so he can hold a room in his care facility to make space for her next victim. And this is not just them like hooking each other up. There's something really insidious here too. Sam actually is so greedy that he kind of blackmails Marla a little bit. He just doubled the price on her because he felt like it. He's like, I got other people. I'm just hit you with the double the price. And it's so insidious. It's so normal to be this greedy and insidious that they even rip each other off. She isn't even bothered by the fact that he inflated the pricing on her out of nowhere. She's just like, got me again. All right, see you Monday. Like, what? Y'all not even friends. Y'all don't even go together. Like, y'all ripping each other off in the name of greed. That's crazy. And we can see behind Sam Rice, who got that shadow behind him, right? They're showing some ulterior motives. He's got something else besides what he's putting on and for everybody else. And it's so crazy that both of their jobs are to care for people, but they're playing unfair to make this system work in their favor. Let's meet somebody else. We have Dr. Karen Amos, the doctor appointed to the patients within Sam's facility, who also helps Marla. Now, if you need a little something, I'm gonna write a doctor's note saying they're demented, not well, crazy, so you can go ahead and get your bag and you slide me a piece of your bag. Excuse me? So y'all just legally lying on doctor's notes? Like, is that what we're doing? And Karen does the same thing Sam does to her, to Marla, by saying, all right, I got something special for you. I got a cherry, right? And a cherry is a special elderly victim who has no familial or friendly guardian ties. That means this is a clean kidnapping. But you got to get me something so I could get you something. We're doing these little greedy personal dealings amongst each other in the health care facility. Very strange. We see another color here, specifically in Sam and Marla's office, this prominent color purple, which we know is the breakdown, the mix of blue and red. So they will hurt citizens. They will harm red citizens, blue, to gain self-interest. I couldn't help but notice here, if we're looking at the US of A, the red, white, and the blue, what do you guys believe white is representative of?
I think supremacy. I mean, white people, supremacy. That's what I think.
I thought that originally as well.
I think death.
Oh, bringing a little WandaVision in here.
I mean, at this point, I want her to die, so.
We all are, Elle. We all want her to die. Callie, what do you think white represents? And y'all can go off in the chat as well. I'm in two places at once.
I'm gonna say both. I'm gonna say it's the white supremacy, death is coming, it's all intertwined.
So this is where I stopped trusting these stories, because us as Black people, we know white supremacy when we see it. So y'all are not wrong, right? Because that's the first thing I thought of as well. But I had to remember who was creating this story. Who wrote and directed it was a white man in Hollywood, young as hell. The only reason why young white men make it into Hollywood at this level is because their daddy put them on, right? So you have the cisgender heterosexual white man making the story. I don't know if you have the range or the bravery or the care to address white supremacy. And it's not that it's like not white supremacy, because I think it is, but I don't know if this white man telling the story is really going at it like that. So I was like, if it's not quite white supremacy, because that's very much our take of it, because that's what it is, what would this white man want to be saying to the color white? And I guessed that this means power. And I'm only using power because I'm thinking of it through a white man's lens, because I don't believe a white man understands just how violent he and his ilk are. So yes, white supremacy. But like through this story, white represents power, and they're all chasing the power of that top 1% wealthy elite. And that's also the lie that the American dream sells us, right? Work hard. You could be one of them. You're going to be a billionaire too. You just work hard, play the game, stay the course. It's just like, So we're sitting here looking at these three working class white people who are chasing that white power, that 1% wealth. They're all trying to scheme up. That's my take on it. A. Barty says, I like death as the answer. We would like it. Mara Cherie says, white means death, cold, sterile, sociopathic. Them's the vibes. I ain't gonna lie. Like those are very much the vibes as well. L guesses in the chat, some money. That's where that wealth is. Yes, money, that 1% wealth. Absolutely. So we're going to meet our cherry, Miss Jennifer Peterson. The first shot we saw her, we met her from behind. We could not see her face, alluding to a hidden identity. And just taking a quick gander around her home and seeing the colors that prevail, that come out, right? That white, you know, she's very rich. They made that very clear. This lady is sitting on millions of dollars. And we see green and blue. Now, we don't know her hidden identity, but what we know right here, she is just an ordinary citizen, blue, who could possibly be having an illusion to freedom, right? Because she doesn't know what's coming for her. And adversely, Marla doesn't know what's coming from her. So if she's sitting on this pile of money and she's pretending to be an ordinary citizen, it's this illusion of freedom because she has no idea what's coming knocking at her door. And who came knocking at that door? Sure enough, Miss Marla herself. Now let's really break this down. So I stated earlier that I believe the color yellow represents the system of it all, the structure of how this even all works. Marla wearing that yellow to use the system in order to hide who she is. We see that reflection that she has in the door, representing two identities. We also see some gold, yellow in Jennifer's house, right? Because in order for Jennifer to hide her actual identity, she has to use the system too. She got a whole new birth certificate. She got a house. She got the bills paid. She got all this stuff lined up so she can hide. Okay. But Marla's sitting here with this yellow blazer. She's about to use the system, her job and the law to trap Jennifer as a ward of the state. The color white is prevalent in both of their frames. This is going to be the battle of power. Somebody who wants the money, somebody who got the money, and I'm trying to take your money from your money, okay? It's a battle of power. Who is going to access that elite wealth? So Marla says this. She successfully takes Jennifer in. She is bringing her off to Berkshire Oaks elderly facility. And she's telling Sam how easy it was to capture her. Jennifer saw the legal paper and the cops, and she was easy. She was just ready to walk, right? And most of us are easy, compliant, and scared. Now, this is a drag for us as American citizens, right? Because if the 99% are poor working class and we're all trying to be the 1%, do you know how much power that is? Do you know how easy it would be for us as the 99% to topple the 1% and make new rules? And every day we choose easy, compliant, scared. Okay, we ain't revolting. Some of us are. A lot of us is watching it on Twitter. We ain't revolting like that. So there's a really interesting line here where Sam touches base and calls her and mentions the Milgram experiment, which is real. This is a 1965 obedience measurement of how many participants harmfully shocked other human beings to the maximum of 450 volts just because they were told to do it. Very real. I actually saw a piece of the Milgram experiment, I think in college, and there's this white guy on a telephone with the little volt charge in front of him, and the guy, and she hearing the command on the phone, do it, just shock him, just one more, we just have to test it, and he's battling his morality. Do I listen to this guy or do I harm somebody and he harms the person. Zzz, all right, I did it. Okay, all right, I did it. Isn't that crazy? You just do something wild because you were told to do. They made another movie about that too that I watched at the start of quarantine, where someone took an entire restaurant hostage for a full day by calling them, and gave every employee from manager down to like lower level staff, held them hostage, but stay on the phone with this guy because he's got a gun and he says he's coming. He never even came. Everyone just obeyed the order that they heard on the phone. It really works like that in the human psyche. It's actually pretty insane. So Marla now has Jennifer's home in her possession, so she heads to the bank to access Jennifer's safe. We are literally at the site of wealth, and we can see the power structure in this frame. The system, yellow, is built as a trap for our citizens, these blue stripes, to the escalation of power at the top, the white, right? This is a bank that secures the wealth for the elite. And let's pay attention to this. Marla was able to access this wealth by cheating the system and angling it to legally fit her benefit. That's very, very, very important takeaway from all of this mess. The working hard and playing fair ain't gonna get you to the top. The only reason why this woman has access to the building is by cheating and playing unfair. So I have a question for y'all again. And I mean, I think this is a quick one. I think we all know the answer to this. Could anybody else but a white woman do this journey?
Hell no.
Christine.
I would say a white man can, but other than that, no.
Oh yeah, just white men and white women, and that's it. Because they're at the top, unfortunately.
Even if a brown person was playing legally, illegally?
The way they would have verified all of that paperwork.
The little bank vendor would have been like, let me check again. Give me 3 references. Let me ask your boss.
I need your blood type.
She just came in and said, oh, I have a key. He said, right this way, ma'am. Excuse me? Excuse me? A. Barty says, the psych major in me lived for that. I guess you're talking about the Milgram experiments. Yeah, that was definitely a psych study. I did a little psychology in college as well. I ain't used none of it, so whatever. Let's meet Jennifer's son, who is absolutely nameless. Let's go call him John Doe. This nameless hidden identity. So we identified a lot of the colors so far, but here is a new color. VIPs and everyone in the chat, what do we feel Black represents?
Power.
Power again, okay.
I'm gonna say like represent like the mafia and their power, their money, but through like illegal, shady means. So they get their power through shady criminal acts, and Marla's like the legal side of it.
Ding, 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 ding. Come on, Khaled. What, you been studying or something?
I was thinking like a mysterious past. We didn't really know much about him at first and who he really was.
All of y'all are right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Black here works as the opposition to white. This is the opposition to the elite. So the white are criminals who hide in plain sight, right? They're cheating the system to be that 1%. They're criminals hiding in plain sight. And so y'all said the power, the unknown, the hidden, the dark, the criminal. Yes, Black represents the criminals in the dark. And the gag is they both have the same access to wealth. This John Doe is nameless, hidden, hiding in the dark of Black, versus the powerful elite who are like, oh, I don't know, we just worked hard and like made money. And we know the gag, okay? So I took a note here, just a little note. Marla's girlfriend, Frances, is often seen wearing black. And at some point in the movie, they even like mention a name that she used to have. She used to go by Frankie. So I'm thinking the way Frances is able to assist Marla is using her criminal past in this new lane. But they never quite confirmed it. It's kind of always hinted at it. And so that's John Doe, played by Peter Dinklage, incredible actor, who is ordering his employee Alexis to go find his mother and bring her around here. Okay. And we can look at the colors on Alexis and can see how he's fronting to be of working class. He's wearing blue, pretending to be a citizen outside in the country, driving this yellow taxi, right? He's fronting as if he's obeying the system's rules, and we know that's not a lie. The gag is both John Doe and Marla are trapped in this chase for power. They have to use the system. There's no way, there's nothing that exists outside of it. Even if you don't obey it, even if you do illegal activity, even if you use it for your own benefit, you have to use the system. We can see that in all the stripes and all the columns in both of their offices. You got to engage. So at this point, pressure is rising for Marla, right? Jennifer's true identity begins to be revealed to Marla after Marla receives a death threat by Dean, pretending to be Jennifer's lawyer. Marla at this point still doesn't budge. I don't care what you came in here with. Nothing you saying scares me. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I want $5 million. Here's my problem with the movie. Let me start here. Let me just start here, okay? Khaled says, I'm gonna just say this right away. This mobster couldn't kill for shit. Barely touched her. Here's my problem with this movie. It's giving white feminists. And again, I have to keep the writer director in mind as a straight white guy, right? And you can tell he's obviously privileged. Either privileged because he now is in Hollywood, or privileged because he had access to Hollywood from his money and his connections and his daddy, whatever. But it's given white feminists. And this is supposed to feel like this righteous fight for women against scary, dumb, sexist men. But I'm watching a whole lot of white people fight. So to me, white women are equally the villain. And I'm saying that from a Black woman's perspective. White women have done a number on me, okay? And they do a number in the world. They're equally hands dirty. They just play behind this femininity. So like Marla, my personal annoyance and grievance is that they hide in plain sight while they're hurting people like me. And they I'm gonna say it later, but they use law and systemic and social structures to not play fair and to angle to assure that people like me always lose. We always lose. So I don't give a fuck about Marla. I'm gonna just say it plain. I don't care about her position. I don't care about what she wants. And I want her to lose. And why are we following her? Somebody needs to smack her in the teeth and make it quick. This movie is positioning her as some empowering hero, this anti-hero. She's just a white lady. So, for the first time, Marla's power is shaken. Usually up until this point, we've seen this mirror image on all of the labels on the door. We see the labels read mirror image and backwards to us. But now that Jennifer knocked this lady off her rocker just a little bit, we're finally reading the labels on the door front facing. This shows the opposition of her power. Marla uses the system, Sam Rice, to lessen the quality of Jennifer's life. That's America, baby. That is America. And here's the irony, right? Her and Sam at this point have this very tense conversation, and she's telling him, make her like, I want her on soup, I want her room cold, I want her toenails clipped too low, I want like terrible things. And Sam is a little like, whoa. So the irony here is that Sam asked Marla if she knew of the Milgram experiment. And though this man has the power, look at that white shirt, though this man has the power over this facility and can very much say no, he's obedient. He ups the voltage on the victim simply because he's commanded to. That is some sick shit. That's sick, okay? Khaled says, Marla really bringing all of this upon herself. You torturing Jennifer for what? I'm gonna ask that question later, because yes, I'm gonna ask that question later. Hold on to it, Khaled. So let's meet Dean Erickson versus Marla back in her playground. This is the first time we see a blend of the two worlds, the underground criminal world with the legal system happenings. Marla brings the criminals to spar with her in her world of law and the court system. Now let's look at these levels of privilege, okay? This is what I see when I see a whole bunch of white people fighting for something. The last time we saw Marla in court, she was up against this working class citizen, blew him out the water. Her connections, her knowledge, he didn't stand a chance, right? He lacked the tools he needed to expose her and bring her down. That's a lesson in privilege. Now, Dean Erickson here, he got money, he got connections, he got network, sort of levels the playing field here, right? Gave her a little run for her money, was putting pressure on her in her jungle gym. He also has the money, he also got the intel, he also got all of that, right? And he damn near blew the lid on it. Let's look at the colors. We have Dean in white and pinstripe black suit, using the power of his criminal life to spar with Marla. Now let's look at what Marla's wearing. She's wearing white and blue, but this blue is really dark. This blue almost looks black. I had to do a double take at my television. I was like, what color is this? It's a blue blazer. And I'm sure that wasn't by accident that it nearly looks black, because she's using the power, white, of the citizens, blue, to win in court. But it's so dark and nearly black because what she's doing to these citizens is nearly criminal, okay? And the only reason why she made it out by the skin of her teeth is because Dean and John Doe are working off the grid, so their power works against them. Marla creates an ironclad wall around Jennifer, once again, bringing herself to a win, but she might don't make it. I was real close. So we can see here how just a little bit of access, a little bit of privilege, if you level the playing fields and I have what you have, I might could take you down. This is why they make sure the 99% does not have the same resources. It's integral to their profit. So let's meet the midpoint here. The colors allude to the fact that the two teams are morphing, blending into each other's playgrounds, right? Marla is finally discovering Jennifer Peterson isn't who she says she is, digs up a bit of criminal records. And we have the criminals breaking through to the system, into the healthcare facility, nearly saving Jennifer. Once again, one-ups by Marla's power and network. They're switching colors. They're coming into each other's worlds. So I want to have a big conversation right here because I need to talk about the white delusion. Marla is not a lawyer. She's a professional guardian and caretaker. And I think she just gets to defend herself and her job in court because she's Marla fucking Gracie. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But I want to go off here just for a second. By this point, Marla's friend, Dr. Karen Amos, has been killed. Even though ruled as a suicide publicly, we know that was John Doe and the Russian mafia who did that. Marla's girlfriend, Frances, wants out. That is a smart move to make because they on their stuff now. And Marla doesn't do that. She leans in. So let's discuss her delusion. Because even as the pressure for her is rising, she still doesn't quit, even quoted saying, "I don't lose." So going back to Khaled's question from earlier, she's willing to risk all of this and die for what? For like your pride and your ego? Like, what are you doing all this for? And storytelling wise, the motive gotta be heavier and more emotional than because I want to. Okay, yeah, like why am I on your train? So she's making this huge decision that could be life or death because she wants to, like, and she has enough money to be okay. She just wants more. I want to take a look at this vape because this vape is ridiculous. So, two things. Number one, we see her smoking just as much as we see her working out. So pairing these two visuals together, she's doing something that directly contradicts her health, but in a socially acceptable version of harm. So we see you doing something that makes you healthy and takes care of yourself, and then in the next thing we see you doing something that harms yourself, but in like this cute, quirky way. It's like socially acceptable. Number two, it looks phallic, okay? It looks like she loves sucking her own dick. It really do look like that. Like she's reading Jennifer down for filth, and she's like, what's up? And here is really the bane of my existence. White women just want to be as powerful as white men, and maybe that is their ultimate motive. They're willing to die for it, for that power next to white men, but I don't trust it because this story was made by a white man with power and privilege. So I don't know if he's intentionally telling this story or because I'm looking through my black ass eyes, I know that there's another layer here that he may not even be tapped into. And this is the same thing I've had against Malcolm and Marie. What is Sam Levinson saying through black ass characters? What are you really talking about? Do you have the range or not? Because I don't believe you do. And I won't ever believe you do. So she's super delusional here, right? Though she isn't playing fair, she's asking Jennifer and the Russian mafia to play fair against her. Okay, well, what is playing fair according to Marla Grayson? She encourages them to use the law, come into court, battle me, get in front of the judge, do it fair. And just like, baby, that's the playing ground where you cheat. So you're gonna ask them to play fair so you can cheat? Well, like, what are you doing? And this is the thing with white people. This is exactly how they are. They want to dictate how the oppressed fight them. Well, don't be angry when you call me racist. Be nice. I'm not listening to you because you got an attitude. No, I'm actually curse you out because you don't understand the harm that you're doing to me every single day. This is what white people do. Any thoughts?
I might be skipping ahead, but I just feel like violence is never the answer until it is.
Oh.
So
2L.
At this point, like, I was waiting for those consequences to happen that the lawyer was talking about.
Who totally disappeared after this point, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's her ego. It's everybody hyping her up. It's her always winning in court. You know, she's been at this game for a while, and once you like get that far, you don't really see like, oh, nobody can really come for me, you know, even if the whole Russian mafia is on her ass. She thinks that she can like talk her way out of it, or I don't know, she just thinks like, I deserve this, or this is my like what I'm meant for. Which, you know, if she is or she isn't, doesn't matter. Like, the mafia is on your ass. She just really doesn't care.
That was one of the things she said early in the movie too, that was just like, men always threaten me. Out of all these men, maybe 2 have like followed through, but like they always have these empty threats. No one's ever going to do anything. And that was cute for that point of the movie, but the fact that she still has this mindset after she saw her friend get murked, like they proved that they would do that to you. So she's kind of still handling this like, oh, they're just trying to scare me. And it's just like, no, like they said and they did. Like,
and she just continues to like double down on it, even like, not to jump ahead, but later on in the movie, like she's literally on the brink of death. Like it's right in
we gonna drag her again. Yeah, we gonna drag her again.
Yeah.
We gonna drag her again.
It's like she feels like she's some type of superhero, like she's untouchable because she got so used to being indoctrinated and being fed and having the experience of all this privilege and being entitled. So she's like totally lost it. Like she's just completely delusional. Like it doesn't matter what happens, I can't lose. I'm going to win. I don't care what they do to anybody else or anything they do to me. I'm going to make it out. And that's where in the movie, that's why I was saying it started to jump the shark, because I'm like, things that's happening now is not being realistic at all. She should have been shook after her friend died. And she's like, nah, I'm a secret assassin and I can get out of things. I'm like, what? The plot armor was insane. So yeah. I'm just like, I was checking out of the movie after that. I'm like, what? No. I'm done.
Man, A. Barty says she could have easily let that lady go and went about her day. It could all be so simple. And yet, Mara Cherie says, if I saw this woman on the sidewalk, I would cross the street. Come on, reverse racism. It's really quite delusional. And that's the only word I have for it. That really is it. And this perfectly sums up the war between the privileged and the oppressed. Marla threatens Jennifer, provoking her to violence. And here's what it looks like in the court system through the security camera footage. When the oppressed fight the privileged, the privileged suddenly appear to be the victim. Are you okay? Did she hurt you? I wanted to scream. I wanted to scream because this literally happens to me as trying to fight white people, non-Black people. It's like you provoke. And then when I blow up, it's like, whoa, look at the negress, huh, guys? Am I right? And it's like, wait a minute, because that's not fair, because what you had, no, you ain't see what she did. Anybody? Do nobody see that? Okay, I'm the asshole. I'm sorry. They have the power to control the narrative. So, is this cisgender, heterosexual, male privileged writer, director stealing stories of the actual oppressed? Why is there only a war between rich white people? Do he get it or not? And this is why I don't fall for the teach me about racism. I don't know. You guys know. Y'all know. Y'all just stay in that little dumb phase so you never actually have to address your knowledge and your benefit of racism. Y'all know. There's too on the nose for you not to know, okay? Now, right here, stopping by real quick. This movie may have dragged Marla and us because here, Marla was targeted and attacked. And I know me personally, when I saw this woman approach, I thought nothing of it. And neither did Marla. Knowing what she's up against, neither did Marla. Hey, are you okay? And we were just like, yeah, help her. And she turns out to be the threat.
No, I was thinking, I'm sorry. I was thinking when she pulled up, like, yes, get her. I know what's coming. I don't trust white women, period. I know how they operate. They've done it to me, like you said, Tasha, so many times. I'm your cheerleader. Go you. Then behind closed doors, they do some shady shit. I'm telling you.
Yes, right here. I just had to like double check for myself. I'm like, where are my own biases? Because I was like, well, who's that? Like sitting here up until this point, dragging white ladies and seeing this white lady and falling right back into that narrative. Like, no, she's cool, she's safe. Are the lights on at home, Tosh? So finally, John Doe brings us into his world, surrounded by Black as his uniform, right? And this whole Marla Grayson thing, as we've been saying, just feels so unnatural. I don't understand why and how she's so unafraid. But if we're speaking to themes of capitalism and power, we would have to be discussing whiteness. And I'm not sure the writer is speaking about whiteness. What emboldens whiteness so much in the face of death? Or is this just bad character development and storytelling? I don't know. I don't know, right? And Marla here says, to make it in this country, you need to be brave and ruthless. Now she's doubled her price the way Sam Rice did to her earlier. Now it's 10 mil. So if she's willing to die or come up $10 million, is she equating poverty to death? I might as well die if I'm not going to be rich like you. Is this the mindset of the elite? And she says something here that chilled me to my bone. That's enough. That's enough money for me to use money as a weapon, a bludgeon. So now wait a second. You asked me what I'm gonna do with $10 million. Hurting somebody is furthest from my mind. And I would bet that would be the same for everybody in this room, all of my VIPs, my sister sitting here to my left. You give any poor / working person $10 million, person of color, hurting people with it. We might invest and learn stocks all of a sudden. We might go to a P. Diddy yacht party, but she wants to use it as a weapon. Her dream is to have enough money to create more violence in the world. Baby, that's whiteness. And how can this tale be coming from a white male writer? Is this like some Freudian slip or something? Like his subconscious is accidentally speaking through his work? How can she say something like that? It was chilling. It was chilling. And then if she gets the money, then what? And I don't think the movie ever answered that. How would she use it? Like, what? Okay. But of course, Khaled said the lioness makes it out in the face of death. It's right here staring her in her face, and she makes it out alive. The way Christine said, she's suddenly like some magical superhero. She's just a plain woman in a yellow formation suit. How is she this incredible? There's no means to her skill set. She just has them, right? Abe Artie says, I'm turning into an LLC Twitter member immediately. Okay, I make money in my sleep. Stimmy what? Okay. She want to be Wanda Maximoff so badly. These white ladies need help. So Marla wins again, capturing John Doe and forcing him into her care. Let's look at these colors. Using both the criminal world, black, and the system, yellow, to bring him into citizenship, blue. For her access to wealth and power, white. Okay? Summed it up in a single frame. So these are looking like some more prisons. These are looking like some more prisons. Under her care, John Doe introduces an idea of collaboration with Marla Grayson until she decides, and they go forth together side by side in business ventures. Now, when he introduced the idea to her, instead of chasing the illusion of freedom, green, they will collab to access actual power and wealth, white. And we see that they're playing again with those mirror images, right? So we're merging both worlds. They legally create offshore companies to create illegal wealth, amassing billions of dollars. This is the direct scheme of the wealthy. The black and the white, they are legal criminals. And we see their two agendas here. We saw them from behind first, hiding those intentions and identities, to what they present to the world. Yeah. Oh, whoa, wait. This is America, baby. This is America. Callis said, I actually predicted this outcome when she was tied to the chair. I was like, if she talks any longer, he gonna give her a job. White women, even when they lose, they win. This is America, baby. The red, the white, and the blue. While Marla is scheming and cheating and stealing her way to power and wealth, she preaches fairness, truth, honesty, and hard work to the public with that beautiful angelic smile. Of course, she represents the lie of the American dream. Until the prey becomes the predator. Starting from the beginning, ending with the beginning. The son of Mrs. Feldman, who is now deceased, comes for his revenge for Marla Grayson. We start when we saw him, the system, yellow, separated him from his mother, and the illusion of freedom, green, uses this gun to attempt to balance the scales. This is what real love and care looks like. So you wanted to work under the guise of care and create violence. Well, now, because I actually love and care my mother, who you didn't let me see, I'm gonna use violence on your ass. Queen is dead. Baby, the way I was praying for this moment, I said, if this lady walks off scot-free with her girlfriend, I was screaming when the girlfriend was alive. Because how is she winning? So as we close out, who in any of this is the good guy? Marla doesn't believe it's us. We don't believe it's her. So what's the truth? Any last thoughts, my VIPs? Where y'all at?
I think that sums it all up for everybody. Yeah.
I had a good time, honestly.
That's valid. I be like the terrible movies. What'd you say?
He used his "Make America Great" hat. Like I was like, yes, you.
I was just so wrapped up in like the fiction and the thrill of it all. I was like, okay.
And how did
turn off my brain?
Sorry. How did both Marla and the girlfriend survive? Like I was just upset the entire movie.
I know. When I saw she was still, I'm like, wait a minute, huh? She was bleeding out on the floor. How is she still alive?
And you miraculously saved her too? Like,
come on. I'm like, that was so irritating. Like, nobody dies. Really?
But I can appreciate
till the end.
They only did kill the white people. They only killed white ladies. Karen died.
Well, that's good.
And
that's good.
Marla died.
Yeah, that was a plus.
They could have killed the judge too. I wouldn't have felt.
Oh, him. Oh, that. Oh. He was trash. Just follow what the white lady say. Okay, yes, okay.
Oh my God.
Yes, I believe you. I believe everything you say, man. Oh my God, he was irritating.
Like what? Like I feel like I'm gonna be angry at white people at work tomorrow. Don't you
look at me. Stop looking at me.
Right. Don't say the benevolent white. Don't say good morning. Just
what was it a good morning for? Just for you.
Yeah. This movie got me there. I was like screaming. I was like, how is she? And then she does that lion roar out of the car and she's like beating her chest. And I'm like, you're not fucking powerful, dog. Like, you're really not powerful. Xylan says, this reminds me of how in Snowfall, the government framed the rise of cocaine was a Black issue and problem, while the FBI was funneling it in the country for more. Well, listen, they control the power, the money, and the narrative. Absolutely.
Yeah.
A. Marcy says, if this movie's job was to just make us mad, mission accomplished. We need to come up with something else. What would you guys like? Just some ideas. What are some good ideas to dissect for tomorrow's show? back on YouTube, 6 p.m. EST.
I'm surprised we haven't done Coming to America yet.
Oh,
I can't do that.
beautiful gowns.
I can't do that. I can't do it. It's some suggestions and I'd be like, all of a sudden I can't read.
Yeah.
Somebody said Snyder Cut. Isn't that the 4-hour DC movie that just came out? I can't do it.
I can't do 4 hours.
Yeah,
And I also, WandaVision kicked my ass because there's so much backstory to learn before you can even speak about. So I don't have the wherewithal to do the DC study. I really can't squeeze that in. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, I want to do something fun and cool, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being in the chat as well. Thank you to Stephanie Williams who stopped by. I was so happy to speak to her and do that interview. That was hella fun. I'm so happy to be doing this and giving y'all content and sharing Black love and celebrating Black stories and just having fucking fun on a Sunday in quarantine. So this makes me happy to spend this time with you guys each and every time. That's all I can say is just thank you. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys streaming here on Patreon and YouTube. I'm going to chat with my VIPs real quick because I ain't seen them in a minute, dog. Okay, thank y'all for being here. I will see you guys live tomorrow, 6 p.m. EST. We'll figure out what the hell going on. Leave it in the comments. Any suggestions? See y'all later. Bye.